I have worked on more than 100 Webflow projects in the last years with our Webflow agency Magier, and I can tell you the internet gets a lot of things wrong about Webflow. So let's fix that today. I decided to pull 10 of the most common questions about Webflow from different internet forums, Reddit, Quora, and yes, even the Webflow forum itself. So let's jump in. First question I always see is Webflow actually better than WordPress? If you want the quick answer, yes. WordPress really feels like something from the early 2000s, and while it's more customizable overall, I would say rather go with Webflow. It's not only giving you full design freedom, but also a clean structure and super good page speed. And the best part compared to WordPress is that you have way less maintenance. So for most of you, I would always recommend Webflow. The next big question I always get asked is Webflow easy to learn? My honest answer is here, yeah, it depends. If you want to build a completely new website from scratch, it is quite hard to get started, especially if you don't know your way around HTML and CSS. But if you just want to add a new blog article or adjust some images, it's super easy. Ultimately, that's also the beauty of Webflow, because it lets you do everything you can imagine, from responsive logics to CMS relations and crazy animation. At the same time, it gives beginners an easy way to adjust what they need to adjust. Next question is, why is Webflow so expensive compared to other website builders? In a recent article I wrote, I summed it up in one line. Webflow is ideal for teams who value performance, SEO, and design freedom, entirely without plugin maintenance. So yes, it costs more, but you are also removing hours of updates, patches, plugin conflicts, caching plugins, security plugins, all the stuff that slows teams down. In addition to this, we have some website builders like WordPress that seem cheap at first, but then come with a higher cost through all the extensions. The next question I often get is, can Webflow handle big, high-traffic websites? And my clear answer is yes, Webflow can absolutely handle big traffic. The only times I see problems are when people load gigantic images, 20 third-party scripts, weird cookie banners, random widgets, and then blame Webflow. The platform itself is super fast. What you put in there determines the rest. And there are tons of examples that prove it every day, like Spotify, Monday.com, or Dropbox, all of them running on Webflow. Another common question I get is, do I need to know coding to use Webflow? Technically, no, you don't need to write code yourself, but you need to think in a code structure, classes, nesting, logic, responsive behavior. So if you understand HTML, CSS at a high level, Webflow becomes incredibly powerful. If you don't, you can still use it, but you'll depend more on templates. And then there's the classic. Is Webflow good for SEO? As a Webflow user, you can manage everything from metadata, schema markup, image optimization, and sitemaps. And the best part, all of this without any additional plugins and by generating clean code. That's the reason why Webflow sites often perform well right out of the box. Clean code, fewer plugins, less technical depth. SEO is not something mysterious. It's mostly about performance, structure, and clarity, and Webflow gives you that foundation. Another question you see everywhere is, how hard is it to migrate a website to Webflow? If you know what you're doing, migrating is absolutely manageable, but only if you follow a proper process. You need to export all content cleanly, rebuild the layout with solid structure, and set up your 301 redirects with care. When you do this right, you don't lose any rankings. In many cases, you actually gain visibility because the new Webflow site loads faster and performs better. But, and this is important, if you are not used to migrations, I really recommend getting a pro involved. A small mistake in redirect, structure, or content mapping can cost you rankings for months, and a Webflow expert can really do it right the first time. Another question I always get is, why does my Webflow site feel so slow? Here's the truth from my experience. Webflow itself is fast, really fast. When a site feels slow, it's almost never the platform, it's the way the site was built. Huge, uncompressed images, way too many third-party scripts, messy structure, heavy animations, all of that kills performance. When you build with a clean system, optimize your assets, and keep external scripts under control, Webflow is easily one of the fastest no-code platforms out there. Another big one is, can Webflow replace a full developer team? The short answer is no, not completely. Webflow doesn't magically remove the need for developers. You still need solid structure, proper class naming, reusable components, good logic, and a clear CMS plan. All of that still matters. But what Webflow does is drastically reduce the dependency on developers for everyday website work. Marketing teams don't have to wait weeks for simple updates. Designers can ship ideas way faster, and companies can move without being bottlenecked by engineering. So no, it doesn't replace an entire dev team, but it definitely changes how much you need one. People also always ask, is Webflow good for e-commerce or should I use Shopify? My take on it, Webflow e-commerce is really only relevant if you have a small number of products and you care a lot about design and brand experience. For small curated stores, it's great, you get stunning layouts and full creative control. But as soon as you need serious inventory management, large product catalogs, discount logic, deeper integrations, Shopify wins every time. It's built for scale. So in short, Webflow e-commerce for small design-driven shops, Shopify for anything beyond that. And the last question, how much does it actually cost to build a website with an agency? It really depends on a few core factors. How many pages you need, how custom the design should be, whether you need a CMS, what integrations are required, and how much animation or interaction work is involved. And yes, Webflow has a higher baseline cost, both in hosting and in agency rates, because the builds tend to be a bit more custom and design focused. But the big advantage is what happens after launch. You save money on maintenance, plugin issues, theme updates, bugs, and all of the hidden costs that come with older platforms. So upfront, it costs more, but over the next 1 to 3 years, the total cost is usually much lower because the site stays stable and it's easy to maintain. That's the full list. If you have any questions left, make sure to drop it in the comments below. And if this helped you understand the Webflow ecosystem a bit better, hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.